Alright, so this is going to be a quick little review and a comparison. So these are the Metallor locking tuners, and I'm going to compare them to the Guyker locking tuners. These, I've heard stuff about like the strings breaking within like a few hours. These are old strings. I didn't want to test it with new strings, and just to see how and when it would break. But I don't have a truss rod cover on this yet, so that's why there's not any strings on. So I was going to put that on. But these Metallor locking tuners are pretty interesting. You can take this all the way out, and if you needed to like make a larger size hole for a bigger string gauge, then you could, and you could do it safely without ruining the little rod to pinch the strings in. I don't know if that caught it on camera, but you could see the pin go in it. And on the Guykers, you can only pull them halfway out, which I'm not going to do because I already have them filled with string. But I found that pretty interesting because these were $22, maybe $23, and these were around the $34 mark. And one thing I found, which might be a little bit of a placebo effect, is that these strings, even though they're older, they sound more wide or more full in comparison than what they did before when I was like doing the little wrap around and pinching them in between the loops on other strings. I will be tuning this one up to drop D, and this one is already in drop C. And this one is usually like the more full, the more loud acoustic sounding one because it has a tremolo system, as to where none of the others do. So I'm gonna test that out, see stuff, but I'm gonna see how the Metallor locking tuners and the Guyker locking tuners compare with staying in tune, the sounds, all that. One thing that I'd like to mention about the Metallor locking tuners is that I don't know if you can see this or not, but the entrances for the strings on the tuning pegs are slightly beveled. And I noticed this, so I put the ones that have the most beveling at the B and E strings. That way they're not as prone to breaking as what I saw with the Guyker strings. Keep strings from not snapping under pressure when tuned up, but so far I've not had that issue. But as you can tell, there's no like bevelage or anything like that on the Guyker locking tuners. So there's a couple of things I'd like to point out between the Guyker and the Metallor locking tuners, is that I like how you can actually feel like the grip on the wheel of the machine. It's really nice. I think it's a little too bulky, but I think it's great overall. And for the Metallor, I like the slim profile of it. I like the little weird design. I wish it had like a brand logo or something similar to the Guyker's, but like you can't feel the grip, or at least on these two, maybe, yeah, those two only. You can definitely fill it on this one and this one, but for these, the top two, the E and the B strings, or the E and the B tuning machine heads, they're slick for some reason. Overall, I think they're good, but I'd have to use them with some strings to actually get a feel for them. So I got another set of Guyker locking tuners, and right now you'll see that the rod is down, right, when you unlock the tuner, quote unquote. But if you flip it upside down, you'll see that the rod is back up top. So let me do that some more. Sorry, I'm shaky. While it's all unlocked. Which, you know, the Metallor locking tuners do not do that. So my only explanation is that these are separated because it's supposed to act like a buffer. That way you don't clamp your string down too tight and break it, essentially. So the only reason I noticed this is because I got 3 more sets, 2 for the right-handed side and 1 for the left-handed side, because I'm gonna be putting them on my 8th string and my 7th string. So there's a quick little update. So here's a small little update. I finally got the piece and I outlined and got the little dots going. And of course I picked the most Ibanez-like truss rod cover for this because of the off-brand headstock. So there's the Ibanez, there's the Ibanez, and there's the Ibanez. So it actually fits pretty well. Next time you see this, the truss rod cover will be on it, and then there will be strings on it as well. Here's a short little update. I finally got it on after 2 or so hours. My Dremel's not that strong, so I kind of had to do what I had to do. As you can see, there is a big scratch mark on it before. I did use a little sanding piece just to see how it would smooth it out, and it just ate it. But I do have another piece if I wanted to replace it. Luckily it came with 2 and 6 screws, which I was surprised because it only listed as like 1 piece on Amazon. So there's just another update. Next time you see this, it's gonna have a set of strings on it, and I will be doing a demo between the Metallor locking tuners, excuse that noise, and the Guyker locking tuners. I don't know which one to do yet. I did end up putting some on my 8 string and my 7 string. This one was the most nerve-wracking because it did not have a set of screw holes, so I had to square them off with some masking tape and do that myself. And my nerves were shot. One thing I forgot to mention is that I did have to make the hole bigger for this and this and this one. This one I just did on a whim. So this is my A string, this is my E string, and yeah, it took like a good 30 minutes with the Dremel I had to get this one, and for this one it was like 5 minutes. I kept having to go back and forth between these two, and I gave these a little bevel just to make sure that they wouldn't break, and I did the same thing with this one. So it turns out that the Guyker locking tuners only go up to 58, I think. So that's just a little heads up. I had to turn this into an 80, I believe. Correction, an 85. Alright, so here's a little update. As you can see, the one with the Metallor locking tuners is kind of blocked off there. That's because the high E string isn't a 9 anymore, it is a 13, and it's weird because this one does not stay in tune. This one does not stay in tune when tuning up. Now, the reason why this is a 13 instead of a 9 is because I tried tuning down and it instantly snapped. So this one, you know, the low E, or in this case a D, the A, the D stay in tune. This one, you know, the G, E-A-D-G, yeah, the G stays in tune kind of, but at the same time kind of not. It's kind of a weird situation, so I kind of don't want to do the demo because of the tension and stuff. So I was still planning on kind of doing a demo on one of these. So far I was thinking on my 8 string. It's weird because with the Guyker locking tuners, the it just sounds like it sounds more vibrant overall, like it has a more acoustic sound, and I'm still thinking that that might be a placebo effect, but I've noticed the difference. I really have. So I'm thinking there may be some science to it, or it just might be a placebo. Also, I forgot to mention, when I was reciting, you know, the EADG, that's because I deal with like multiple tunings, so like drop C, custom tuning, and custom tuning as well. So this goes E, A, D, G, C, F, A, D, and this goes G, C, F, A sharp, D sharp, G, C. And you know, this is usually drop D. Anyways, the next clip that you see will be a demo, and it won't have like any video like this. It will most likely be a picture that I just basically put audio over inside my DAW. So first things first, the first instrument that it's going to be played is the 8-string guitar with Guyker locking tuners, and the second instrument that's going to be played is the 6-string guitar with Metallor locking tuners. I'm going to be playing with presets that I made from the ground up, so it's going to be some distortion first and then some ethereal spacey sounds. The presets are also dual channel presets with double mics on each cab in the amp simulator, so using a headset is advised. Anyways, here's the 8-string with Guyker locking tuners. And here's the 6-string with Metallor locking tuners. Well, now that the demo has concluded, let me know your thoughts on the locking tuners in general. I was afraid to play the 6-string with the Metallor locking tuners as compared to the Guykers, especially because this one has a .13 gauge as the high E, which is messing up the rest of the tension and is even putting a bow in the fretboard when I had it straight. Anyways, if you like this content, please like, share, and subscribe. I am out. Thanks for watching.